was like, yabai.
You couldn't see the problems when you were younger because you didn't have any experience.
The things worth living are not always perfect process. Therapy also helps a lot.
It sounds very stressful to change that. 皆さんこんにちは。世界一ポジティブなバレリーナマリカです。今日はスペシャルゲストにお越しいただきましたネレアさんです。
皆さんこんにちは。
ネレアさんにバレエでのメンタルヘルスについてたくさんインタビューしていきたいと思います。お願いします。
お願いします。
We're gonna film this in English. ですね。
英語でお願いします。すみません。
This is gonna be my first time filming in English, and I hadn't been using much English nowadays because I moved back to Japan. So it's gonna be a bit rusty, but forgive me.
全然大丈夫。
ありがとうございます。
Japan English.
Nerea san and I were dancing together in the States.
We met 2 years ago.
Yes. Yamakai san and Nerea san moved to Japan last year, and I moved back. We are living kind of close to each other.
Yes, it's nice to reconnect.
Let me ask you first, what's your bios like?
I started ballet when I was sansai, 3 years old, and I feel like I always had a passion for ballet since a very young age. I mean, I love the art, I loved watching videos of ballet, but probably I'm a person who likes challenges, so like, you know, ballet is quite challenging.
Yeah,
so it's like there's never like an end to improve and find more difficult things to achieve, right? So I think that drives me forward. I went to a school in Bilbao in my hometown, and I had a Russian teacher there. I used to take privates with her, and she kind of like gave me that push towards like a professional career. And so from there she encouraged me to go to Madrid to the conservatory, and from there I kind of decided that I prefer the Russian method. We took our chances and tried to audition for the Bolshoi Ballet Academy, and I got in. Basically that allowed me to graduate from the school 4 years later. After graduation, of course, we have to find a job, and as every dancer, I tried to audition everywhere, and I found a job in New York in the Kirkland Ballet. And from there, I moved to New Jersey to Roxy Ballet, and then from there, I moved to Ballet Frontier in Texas, and from there, I moved to State Street Ballet in California, where I met Marika-san.
Yes. So like in total, were you in States for how many years?
7年ぐらい.
4 different companies?
1, 2, yes, 4.
Wow, that's a lot of
moving. I love like learning from different companies, teachers, directors. I feel like I got a lot of like experience also working with different people. And so now my husband and I, Yamakai-san and I, moved to Japan, and we started making our own shows, the ballet shows. And yeah, we're having a great time meeting dancers in Japan, which is something new for me. It's been a pleasure. So
that's awesome. How's the life in Japan been for you?
New again. Yes, I feel like in America it was stressful to move from company to company, but I mean here is a totally different scenario, like a totally different country, language, culture. So it has been an adjustment. The things worth living are not always like perfect process.
You lived in Spain, Russia, States, and Japan, where it has such different cultures and language and everything. How do you deal with the stress and anxiety of living in so many different countries?
I feel like it depended on my age. That's a big factor, because when I was young and I went to Russia, I was so passionate that I didn't even see the danger or anything. Now I think about it and I was like, yeah, bye. But when you're young, you don't, I mean, of course I was homesick, but I was so like open-minded. And then moving to States, I mean, I knew the language, and again, like trying to find a job is always like keeps you on your toes. So again, you don't have much time to like get sad. I mean, sometimes you do, but you're still young and you're still looking for opportunities, and learning. And now I'm like 27 years old, and so adapting to a new country, it gets a little bit more difficult. But I feel like from all the countries, Japan is the best one to make a base for us and for me. It's very safe, very stable. We have a beautiful job that we love doing, and so that also keeps me motivated.
I think I understand where you're coming from about like moving to other countries when you're older is a bit harder because you have so much experience, so like you try to avoid the problems as well. So like you couldn't see the problems when you were younger because you didn't have any experience, but now we can guess kind of what's gonna happen. So I guess like that makes us a bit more like guarded in the sense. We're gonna jump straight into the other questions about her mental health. What do you do to maintain your mental health?
最近は本を読んでいます。
あ、
Yes.
何語で読むんですか？
スペイン語で。
Oh, okay. What kind of books do you read?
Well, they're all about psychology.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yes,
that's
yes,
cool.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah. The first one that I started reading was more about like Japanese psychology.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's a German philosopher, but the book is written by a Japanese author, and I think it's very famous. And so I also wanted to get to know more the Japanese culture and how the psychology works because I think it's very different. Instead of wondering why, I think discovering the books probably was one of the best things for my mental health. Because I don't feel like crazy, like why do I feel this way, why do I think this way, right? Like there are people who can actually explain to you that it's actually normal what you're going through, and like they help you navigate different difficult things, situations.
It's more logical way to understand how you are feeling, which always are very helpful, you know.
The therapy also helps a lot. We carried a big baggage throughout our life.
Definitely, as a ballet dancer.
Yes, so it's time to unpack and then heal myself in order to be better also in our new job. And
yeah, it's a lot of adapting, I'm sure. When you have the struggles in your life, to understand where your feelings are coming from really helps you to live healthier and happier.
For sure.
Next question. Do you get nervous before performances? And if so, how do you deal with it?
I feel like I used to get much more nervous. I always kept my routine, which helped me kind of focus and keep my mind busy, not feel that stressed about the performance. But again, once I put my foot on the stage, kind of somehow the nerves disappear. I always remind myself that I did do many exams, for example at the Bolshoi Ballet Academy, who were very nerve-wracking. I think this is kind of a technique to not feel so nervous in the moment. Like you can think about the most challenging things that you've done in your life. So if you could have done that, like you can also do this in the moment. That kind of mindset helped. But now that I have to handle way more things than just performing, I feel like in a way the pressure of performing myself has been relieved in a way because I have many things to think about, right? Like the dancers, the costumes, and the sets.
Yeah, because you're basically a director.
Yes. And so now in a way I feel more free to dance actually. I don't feel the pressure, you know, of what they would think, you know, what my directors would think or what my colleagues would think. I just enjoy dancing and enjoy performing for the audience. So in a way that kind of stress has gone away.
Wow. So do you still keep the same routine?
You know how we used to have like at least an hour to get ready, warm up. Now I don't have much time.
Right.
Yeah, so I do my makeup and hair all in 1 hour, and I'm always like running around trying to fix stuff and things. But I feel like I still have that adrenaline, and so maybe in a few years it will be tougher.
You don't feel uncomfortable losing that routine?
Not yet.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it's hard for you to kind of change that routine, because for us, I feel like if you have routine, it's really important. You're kind of stubborn about it, because I am too. Like I need to get things very detailed and in specific way. It sounds very stressful to change that.
I feel like I put myself in a different perspective now. I feel like everybody comes before me now. Dancers and everybody, like I try everybody to be okay, and then I'm like, okay, I have time for myself, and then I do. But I also enjoy that. It doesn't make me feel so much pressure, because if you just have one thing to do, you focus all your energy on that, you actually sometimes get more nervous about it. sometimes having distractions and other things to think about. It's like you don't overthink.
Right. So the next question is, how do you face feelings of insecurity in ballet?
As a ballet student, I mean, not everybody goes through this, but probably many people go through this. From a very young age, insecurities are put on us. Like, for example, comparing to others by teachers and colleagues. And so I feel like it gets to a point where you need to decide what to prioritize. For me, I try to focus on myself. I've seen many dancers who had everything. You would consider them like perfect for ballet, which I don't know what that means, but like stereotypical, you know, perfect for ballet. And then they didn't have that drive, or they decided to stop dancing. As a dancer, you need to know what to value and what to prioritize for your dancing, and also find your uniqueness. I think that will make you stand out from other people and keep you focused on what you want to do, which is perform and dance and enjoy yourself. Yeah, I think the moment you start looking at others and try to judge yourself or compare yourself to others, that's when you kind of lose track of what the goal is. I think I try not to let those thoughts in my mind.
But this is gonna be our final question.
Mm.
How do you overcome it when you can't dance the way you wanted to during a show?
I think this is a very interesting question, because sometimes the performances that we would consider that were not our best were very loved by the audience. They care about the overall shape, for example, of the position of the hands, but if you slipped, you know, were not so turned out, or, you know, your leg wasn't that high, I don't think that they would take that as an overall review of the show. Always like leading with the acting or what you want to express to the audience. I think that's the most important. I think that every show is unique. Sometimes, you know, our body condition is not the best, and so you just gotta do your best and enjoy your time on stage, because it's very precious, and as we get older, we don't know when it's gonna be our last.
Right.
Right? So when you're young, you also don't really appreciate that. You think, I'm gonna, you know, dance forever. I mean, if you are doing a variation, probably it's more difficult.
Yeah,
to
like
overcome
competition.
That. Yeah, if it's a variation, you only have 1 minute to do your best, and you didn't feel like you did your best, that's probably more stressful and more hard to handle. But if you are doing like a full length, one variation didn't go so well, but you have a chance to, you know,
recover
and, yeah.
or do like better beforehand.
Yeah.
Do you like overthink when you couldn't dance the way you wanted to?
I think it's natural to analyze the things that maybe didn't go as perfect as you would expect in order to improve for the next performance. That's all like knowledge that we collect.
Yeah.
So for example, sometimes I slipped here, maybe I should have put more rosin, or I got so dizzy on stage, or I couldn't spot well, I couldn't turn so well, and you try to think like, why was it, right? Because rehearsing in the studio and actually performing is a totally different feeling. So you would never improve if you don't experience the show. So of course you have to fail sometimes in order to reach to your top.
So, thank you so much for coming and taking time.
Of course, my pleasure.
I'm sure everybody appreciates your great advice and, you know, how you deal with your mental health. That was really fascinating for me to hear that.
I feel like I'm discovering myself in this area. It's a beautiful process to get to know yourself more, and I encourage minasan, discover yourself, learn more about yourself. When you feel stressed or anxious, know that you're not alone. That feeling of feeling lonely, and you feel like that's only happening to you, but actually there's many people feeling like that.
Definitely. So obviously Nerea-san has her own YouTube channel. I'm gonna put that info on this video's description box.
Minasan, thank you for watching this video. If you wanna follow me more, Nerea-san channel and Yamakay TV, where we show our process of creating brand new entame ballet. And so we've done a few already: Aladdin, the ballet show, Bijou de Ballet ballet show. 次は白雪姫で ballet show. In January, February.
That's like coming up so soon.
はい。
Oh my god.
I think it's gonna be a great performance, and we have a different approach from the traditional ballet shows. We bring in the entertainment elements, which make it more approachable for people who haven't come to a ballet performance yet. But this is a very friendly and welcoming environment. So, ぜひぜひよろしければチケット買ってね。
買ってね。かわいい。
よろしくお願いします。
The show has been so successful and it's very amazing. So please check it out, everyone, and thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment and subscribe, and yeah, thank you so much for coming. 今日からみんなも
Happy Dancing!